Welcome, everybody. We've got Derek here, and we were back with another Star Trek CCG top 10 list. This week, the Borg, which I think are my favorite race because they're related to the Zerg. I don't know. I like StarCraft. I played a lot of hours of StarCraft, but we're going to do this in under 15 minutes. We're going to go through the top 10 cards or combos. Derek, welcome back, man. How you doing?
It's great to be back. I appreciate it. Again, I know the Borg is not everyone's cup of tea when it comes to the Star Trek CCG, just because they play so uniquely. And I'm no Borg expert on this, but I've encountered enough. I've played it enough myself just to learn from it. That again, some opinion stuff here, but I'm super excited to talk the Borg.
All right, our first card on our list, They Will Be Coming. This is an
Yes.
epic title.
So I know that, as we mentioned, right from the Federation, there's all sorts of sub factions that we broke into with multiple videos that we've done or are going to do. You could do that with some of these other affiliations, but then we'd have like way too many videos. So, but this one here, I really like. They Will Be Coming, because this really helps get the Borg immediately to the Alpha Quadrant. It's not terribly hard if you want to do a Delta Quadrant deck, or if you just want to start them in that Delta Quadrant and bring them to the Alpha, the Gamma, whatever. They can travel through quadrants pretty easily. But the fact is, you get this here immediately. And then you get to, again, as you know, we mentioned in some of the other videos, anytime you could download a ship during the seed phase is pretty awesome. So again, you get a Borg ship. And then you also get a free report engine, which again is another wonderful game mechanic on a card when you get to play cards for free.
Okay, let's go to our next card.
So this one is a really cool card that you would get from the enhanced First Contact expansion, which is, you know, any of the Decipher enhanced products. But this is probably, I think, the coolest card ever done. This is add distinctiveness. This is really cool that when once per game, if you're behind 40 or more points, you get to literally open up a sealed First Contact pack, play or place any of all those cards that are non-seed in your hand, and basically any person that is a Federation personnel or non-aligned or whatever are automatically assimilated, and you get to then place them into play, place all others out of play. And that is just the coolest card. There's so many times during Decipher Run era tournaments, or even just currently today from the Trek CC, or just the fact if you were doing it in your kitchen table and you were playing this, the fact that you could open up a sealed pack and play it to the game in that from out of the game is so cool.
Always agree. All right, next we have Long Live the. What a great shot! This is an awesome picture.
Yes. So this is from Blaze of Glory, which is really good set. This was really the biggest thing, was allowing you to, if your queen died, you get another queen to download immediately. Or you can prevent her from dying by sacrificing some of your security drones. So just again, a great overall card. It's a hidden agenda, right? So you don't have to, you know, you seed it, but you don't have to, let your opponent know right away. So again, anytime you lose your queen, you can bring her back. Which I'm sure some folks will realize we'll probably show the queen here a little bit later on our countdown. But no, just a great card of making sure you protect having that queen in play at all times.
All right, we have some
Uh,
Borg sphere
yes.
things.
Retask, which did get a reflections version, which is pretty cool. And it's really hard to see unless if you really crop in on the image where it's, you know, showing from that First Contact episode where they're inside the Borg cube and you got all the Borg drones lined up on their recharging facility stands. But Retask is phenomenally awesome. When you have the Borg ship on the table, so yes, your Borg ship or your opponent's Borg ship, you literally get to swap that Borg ship for your own Borg cube and download drones to it and basically turn that dilemma into your own ship. Again, how cool a mechanic is that?
I love that. All right, let's go to number 5 on our list. 7 of 9. This is a the Borg just kind of look dope. I'm not gonna lie, they look awesome.
It was a really cool, different template, right, from the traditional. They don't really have a quote unquote game text like all other personnel do. They do in some degree, right, but it's a little bit different, right? Identification, their task, their biological, which is basically saying what species are you, right? So, and Seven of Nine is just a phenomenal personnel, right? Played by the lovely Jerry Ryan. She's obviously reprised her character in the human, non-assimilated version in Picard. But overall, just a phenomenal skill monster. The fact that she has the one skill where, as some folks will see when you're trying to staff your Borg cube, you have typically seven icons in most Borg cubes, and that requires at least 7 drones because only each drone can add one staffing icon of their choosing to contribute to the staffing of that ship. She actually counts as 3 because she counts as one of each of the 3 main colors there. So just a phenomenal card. Again, you can also may draw a card in place of your normal card play. So if you're, for whatever reason, stuck, need to draw a card, it's just a great mechanic.
All right, next on our list we have
Gowron of Borg.
Gowron of Borg. I don't want to say Gowron. I mispronounced it earlier.
So So this is a slightly unique. So again, from the enhanced first contact, they had a little bit of fun. Obviously, there were the main villains or some of the affiliation personnel from the other main affiliations outside of the Federation that never actually got screen time like this. This is just simply a alternate universe that you'll see with the little alternate universe red icon there on the right of this card. But they basically made major counterparts for the major affiliations. Gowron is phenomenal when it comes to this unique game that unique cards that the Decipher created for this, because the big thing is the Borg typically can't just attack affiliations, right? You can have objectives that allow you to do that, but this basically says once per game allows your hive to initiate battle. And again, the Borg have monstrous, ships. You can beef them up super easily, and you can add this in, and your basically Borg ship can go out and wipe whole armadas of your opponent's ships. And Gowron just does it. So it's really good. It's really cool. And it's a phenomenal counterpart if you want to choose to put playing the Borg that attack opponents.
All right, next on our list.
So
guy.
So this was actually the first Borg affiliation card that came into Star Trek CCG. This was part of the Fajo collection. So it really got people hyped up when they first saw this because it was a couple of months before the first contact actually released. And again, who doesn't love Jean-Luc Picard? Who doesn't love being able to play Jean-Luc Picard when you're the Borg? He's a monster stat boss, right? So you have all these officer, diplomacy ×2, leadership, honor, navigation, archaeology, music, just like his main version in the premiere. But again, you get to share those skills with all your Borg when you have those skill sharing Borg out in the play. And then he also, because of him being a counterpart and being the main to the Federation and homeworld to Earth, it basically allows you to have all your ships, when on your ship, allows to have your weapons and shields +4 against the Federation.
All right, we're getting to our final few here. We have all these Borg queens.
So I didn't want to just put one or count all 3 as 3 separate cards. So we just put the Borg Queen on here. There's the 3 versions that you get. The first one, which is from the first contact version. Then later on in Voyager, when they reprise the role with the Borg Queen in the Voyager crew, you have that one from the Borg. And then there's a virtual version. All 3 of these are phenomenal. The main thing for the Queen is that when she's reported, and again, you can switch it at the start of any time, you get to basically pick any skill. And so that's great, right? So then if you want to pick empathy, for example, because most affiliations don't have empathy to begin with. But the fact is that you could be basically Deanna Troi or Luxana Troi or one of those guys in the episodes that have the ability to be empathy. and be able to mind read, you could give that to your Borg queen. Or you can give her Klingon in intelligence if you wanted to, or Obsidian Order, whatever you wanted to do to give her an intelligence skill, you could do that. And then the other three, each three have the other unique skills, right? Of whether you want to download a change of plans to change your objective, you want to download a Borg event or interrupt at any point in time, or you want to have some ability to play twice per game, download We Are the Borg, which is, again, a phenomenal card. I could have put that on this list, but I only come up with 10 cards. But again, great overall, any of the queens. And you put a lot in your deck because she's great for probing.
All right. Our final two here. Ooh, the Borg Sphere.
Yes. So I put the Queen's Borg Sphere in here. There's a lot of really cool Borg cubes. You could put any of them on here. They're monstrous. They're great. But one of the things I like about the Queen's Borg Sphere is that it's a sphere. It's a really nice way of kind of just having something else other than the cube. It's still a pretty decent ship. It has great range, easy to staff for the Borg. But then it also allows you to download the Temporal Vortex, which is a great card for basically abusing time travel. Again, especially with the change again, most recently where it's no longer a referee card, and you have a timer on that, it's a great way of getting that card out at any point in time if you want to do some cool shenanigans with the Borg.
All right, the final card on our list.
So I'm sure some people are thinking, oh, which Borg cube am I going to pick? Again, I loved them all, but I'll be honest, I think this is the coolest card when it comes to the Borg. It is a virtual card, but I love First Contact. I think it's the best Star Trek movie out there. And this card is so iconic when it comes to basically when the Borg take over the Enterprise E in First Contact. Again, if you want to watch the movie, obviously the movie's quite old, so no spoiler alerts. But the fact is, when they're about to take over Data, and he's about, thinking for the millisecond that he does that he wanted to, be part of the Borg. So there's a split millisecond here when the Enterprise E is completely under Borg control. But again, just a great card. You can get it out with, they are coming at the beginning, right? You can download this, or you can download any cube if you wanted to. But again, a great way of protecting your queen, or getting her out early if you wanted to download special icon with the Borg queen. Or again, let's say you want to somehow cheat a dilemma out, right? And you go ahead and you download this Borg queen during mid-mission attempt. And remember, any of the Borg queens, when you report her, immediately you could pick any skill. So you can pick any skill if you're having trouble when you're encountering those dilemmas to overtake them. Not that the Borg really have trouble a lot of times, but again, you may have that empathy. You may have that weird intelligence skill you need to pass to prevent your crew from being stopped during probing, or I'm sorry, scouting, because technically Borg don't attempt missions. But do that. Or again, if you lose her mid mission or mid scouting attempt, you can easily download her back into gameplay with the special download here.
Excellent. Well, this has been fun. Honestly, just like looking at these cards is fascinating to me because I think the Borg, like, I'm not a huge Star Trek guy, but looking at them, I might go watch the movies because it's super nostalgic for stuff I watched like 15 years ago. Well, any kind of closing thoughts here, Derek, on the Borg?
Again, there's a lot of cool mechanics. There's different ways of playing the Borg. There's some other cool things that make the Borg unique. Shout out to the development team that did the Borg recently for a TNG version. That basically makes it a little bit more simpler for the Borg for newbies. Or that want to dip their toes in the Borg rather than trying to learn all the mechanics that the Borg offer. So there's really some cool ways of basically creating these sub factions. As I mentioned, there's all sorts of the counterparts. There's a Ducat of Borg if you wanted to do for the Cardassians, the Boreal if you want to do Bajorans. There's a Wayun if you want to do the Dominion. There's even now a Q of Borg that they did, which has the unique Enigma signal. So if you go back to the slide number 8 there with the Queen, you'll notice that there's this Enigma icon, which makes her super unique in the galaxy versus just the general unique icon, which is the little circle dot. That's our Star Wars. There's no version for that, or the universal personnel when it comes to those. But she's an Enigma. There's only a couple other cards, which is, like I said, Borg, Q of Borg, which makes it the second for the Borg. So, but anyways, all sorts of cool stuff to go out there. They may be scary, they may be a little bit different, but they really are a fun affiliation to play.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be back with more affiliations. We have a few more left, a lot more left. We'll catch you guys later.